Debate me, debate me. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't know that Guam is part of America. She referred to Guam as a foreign country. So, she got schooled by Guam. Take a look at this.
Monday, Guam's lone delegate in Congress visited Greene's congressional office, and he did so with a few dozen members of Guam's National Guard to deliver a box of cookies he promised to the congresswoman after her comment surfaced. She was not there to accept, but an aide came out and thanked the service members.
This beachfront...
Verbo. Vacation Verbo. This video is not sponsored by Verbo.
Thank you guys so much for all that you do. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for keeping us safe. The Congresswoman should be back hopefully in the next 30 minutes or so, and I know that she would love to meet all of you and say hi and just tell you how much she appreciates the hard work that you guys do.
I'm sure. Look at his eyes. Look in his eyes. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. You work for someone who's pretty stupid and is being embarrassed in a very big way. Right? So let's yeah, we love the military, and yes, she would have loved to have been here. Yes. Never mind that her followers are have some very, very mean things to say about you, even after what Congressman Greene did. But never mind that. We love the troops. We love you guys, and I'm sure she would love to be here. Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't give you guys a chance to click on the like button and subscribe yet. So I'm gonna give you a second to go ahead and do that. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. This is the Debate Me channel. All right, so let's get right into it. Look at his face, though. He looks guilty. He looks very, very guilty.
Joining me now is the Democratic delegate of Guam, Michael San Nicolas. Thank you, Congressman, for being with us today to talk about this. Look, I understand that you wanted...
I just want to make this very, very clear. I'm not a fan of CNN. I'm not a fan of MSNBC. I think they are the bottom of the barrel when it comes to corporate news, large corporate news networks. I say this because they are very, very partisan, very, very manipulative, and there's certainly a lot of propaganda. Now, there's also good reporting on CNN and MSNBC as well. If you have a good level of media literacy, then you can filter through the nonsense and know what is legitimate reporting versus what is propaganda. For example, you would learn and figure out that you cannot really trust their perspective on anything regarding extremists on the left. So if there's any rioting that happens or anything like that, you can expect them to sort of try to downplay it, don't report on it, things like that. So you wouldn't expect an honest perspective. Also, if they're covering stuff that's about Trump or the right or Republicans, you can expect that they may take an inch and go a mile, right? So a valid concern, they might make it look more sort of bigger of a deal than it actually is, things like that. But you get, there's a lot of little nuances that you need to understand. But if you're able to understand what they're about, then you can actively filter out the nonsense and see where the good reporting is, because there certainly is really good reporting. But what I wanted to show here is conservative media is, in my view, the bottom of the barrel in terms of media. Any complaints that I have of liberal media like CNN and MSNBC, and I have a lot of complaints, I call them out all the time, 10 times worse than conservative media. They are extremely partisan and consistently so. I will see, and I notice more and more so now, I don't know if this is a change as a result of what's been happening with the media, but they will break with their partisanship, right? Like right now they're going after Cuomo. MSNBC exposed Joe Biden. Right? CNN went after Nancy Pelosi. Right? These are things you never see in conservative media, except for Fox News. Fox News is kind of an outlier. They're so large that there's a lot of things going on there. You have some reporters that are actually decent there who will challenge Trump and challenge Republicans. And then you have this growing number of these opinion show guys that are just like absolute trash. But because of how big they are and the variety that they offer, they are able to be super, super trash and pretty decent at the same time. In a very isolated way, but you can get good stuff from Fox News. But as far as like Tim Pool, Crowder, Shapiro, Blaze TV, these guys are consistently partisan, right? So even channels like CNN have been absolutely destroying them this year in terms of them crossing that line. You know, there's the partisan where we're liberal media and we're all about liberal stuff and that kind of thing, and left is good and right is bad, right? And then they will cross over into the Cuomo, what did you do? What have you done, Cuomo? You bastard. Or there is this episode right here where a Republican yet again did something trashy, and you know, this reporter Brianna, she certainly has called out Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's not a fan of her for sure. So as a true partisan, she should just do, like, if this was Blaze TV, if this was Shapiro, this was Tim Pool, you know, if she was on that level, that trash level, then this would be an episode to just be all like, that was great what you guys did, and da-da-da-da, and I really love how you brought the guards in and really showed her up, and what do you think about Greene? Yeah, she's horrible, isn't she? You know what I mean? Like, that's what the real partisan would do. This guy in some ways sort of went after Green, who is definitely a bad guy, and that kind of supports what I believe to be Breonna Kyler's, that's how she feels. So the partisan way is to like, yeah, good job, right? No. She pushed back once, not just once, twice, I think even the third time. So let's listen.
To make a point here, and that of course it is very important to your constituents that Guam is recognized. They are Americans, and that is certainly not in doubt or should not be in doubt. I know a number of your supporters, I'm sure, have told you they like what you did, but I wonder if you think about any of the negative ramifications that there could be here for the military taking the National Guard as part of this group with you to Congresswoman Taylor Greene's office.
Yeah.
So she brings up the angle of using the military as a prop kind of thing. Now, a key detail to think about when you look at what she's doing right now is flip the tables. Can you imagine if Donald Trump did anything even remotely close to this, what CNN and MSNBC would do? Right? Any hint of Trump using the military as a prop, can you imagine what CNN and MSNBC would do? So as the ultimate partisans, right, they wouldn't bring that up with somebody who's on their side, right? Now, things are so messed up that I feel weird pointing out what appears to be good journalism on CNN, because I feel like people who understand how bad CNN is, they will watch this and think like, I'm like, CNN's great. No, they're not. But just because they're horrible. And I did call them bottom of the barrel for corporate news. Just because they can be horrible doesn't mean that everything they do is horrible. Even those, like I said conservative media is far worse. Even those guys have some things that are good in terms of what they bring up, and it's not necessarily because I don't even want to give them full credit for even the good reporting, because here's the thing. When your whole motive is not to inform people, but it's to be the opposition, so you're solely focused on poking holes at the left, of course that's going to give you an advantage to some degree in terms of pointing out some things that actually are wrong with the left. Now, because you're partisan, you're going to be making stuff up and exaggerating certain things, but because you're so focused on that, if there's anything at all, good chances you're going to pick up on it. Now, another media, let's say some liberal media, they're not going to be so focused on attacking the left, so they might miss some things. Some things are intentionally not being reported on. Other things are just because you're not focused on that, right? The guy who's focused on finding something is more likely to find it than the people who aren't. It's kind of common sense.
We don't see that at all, actually. We were taking our guardsmen on a tour of the Capitol. We actually visited multiple member offices. We tried to deliver cookies to Congresswoman Green. We delivered a local dish from Guam, chicken Kelaguen, to our Speaker's office, to our Majority Leader's office, to our Majority Whip's office. So
I don't know why that sounds delicious for some reason. I don't even know what it is. Chicken Kelaguen. I don't know. Maybe I'm hungry, I guess.
We were very honored to be able to take our guardsmen on a tour. It was maybe the third one that I've done while they've been out here. And, they're very honored to meet members of Congress. And we were really hopeful to be able to meet Congressman Green. But we were able to meet Majority Whip Clyburn, and that was a real special moment for them.
But in this case, I understand you went to...
Why would it be really special to meet Clyburn? I'm not going to say anything else on that one, but yeah.
Clyburn's office. But this is Congresswoman Taylor Greene, who said something stupid about Guam, and this obviously highlights negatively those comments. I know that you're getting a lot of criticism from conservatives, from her supporters, but you are also getting a lot of criticism from civilian military experts who would in no way defend the Congresswoman's comments, and they are critical of you, an elected official, using military service members as they see it as political props. What do you say to that criticism?
Just keep in mind that someone like Green will say a lot of things that are incorrect, but a lot of it may not be necessarily that easy to demonstrate the inaccuracies of it. So she can get away with saying a lot of wrong things to her followers and they believe it and follow along with it. Here's a situation where it's easy to show that what she said was wrong, right? Guam is part of the country, right? So she gets called out for it, and then it's kind of how dare you, she's I don't know what they're saying, but she just made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, right? No recognition for how much false information comes from her on a regular basis. Right, this is not someone who is generally accurate, and then this is one little slip up. But it's just amazing to me, right? She can say all these wrong things, get away with it, and here she finally says something that's black and white, completely false. We can demonstrate it, and you get attacked for calling that out, right?
That criticism is unfounded. We were not at all using military service members for political props. I was taking my guardsmen on a tour of the Capitol, and we stopped by several members' offices, and we delivered some goodies. Cookies should never be considered a political prop, and neither should our military. Goodwill is absolutely something that we wish to extend from Guam to everybody, and my guardsmen wish to extend the same, and we're very honored to be able to facilitate that.
I'm sure you're aware of, during the convention, there were uniformed guard members who appeared on video as part of the American Samoa representatives, and that was actually something that members of the military, or at least their supervisor, got in trouble for. They were disciplined for that. That is a possibility in situations like this. Why would you put them in that position of potentially being investigated?
Now, keep in mind, she's already pushed back, I think, once or twice already, and now she's pushing back again. Right? She's not being ruthless. She's being objective on an extremely partisan network, which is 10 times better than a typical conservative news network. Just let you understand the levels. Right? There's levels of trash in the media. All right? This is an extremely partisan news network pushing back multiple times, and it's not that big of a deal. The guy delivered cookies, right? But she is bringing up valid points. They're using the military for something that many would say might be political props. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case. I'm just saying it would be expected that many people would have that concern. Now, when I say many, I'm not alluding to majority or minority, but I'm just saying more than a few, right? So if there are many people that have this concern as a news organization, it would be your responsibility to probe into that and get answers for that, right? Because you have your audience that has different questions. They're trying to learn about what happened. So to the many of them that are watching that are thinking, maybe they shouldn't have done that, it is her job to bring that up. Like, hey, this looks bad. Why would you do this? And also give him the opportunity, because here he is on this major news network, give him the opportunity to address these concerns that certain people have. So those people can see and they can watch CNN and see, oh, okay, so he said blah, 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 okay. And you can either agree or disagree, but that's the job, right? As a partisan, you would just be letting this guy, good job, pat on the back type of thing. Good job showing up Marjorie Greene. But as an actual journalist, objective journalist, you want to show both sides, and that's what she's doing. You never see that on Blaze TV. Never see that on Crowder, Shapiro, Tim Pool. You never see that, right? Tim Pool has a habit of doing the hedging thing, so you might see a little something, which your opinion of how honest it is, or versus him being objective. But I could see him potentially either pretending to, or sort of putting out some devil's advocate statements. But in general, you're not going to see him, going after someone on the right or Republican.
I don't think we put them in that position at all. As I mentioned before, we've taken them on multiple tours. I was actually visited by other high-ranking guardsmen in my office, and we really shouldn't be looking for reasons to go
Here's
after.
my question: was a video shot of it with dramatic music? Was this done in a way that would have cast?
Wow. Yeah, this is journalism, folks, and CNN is doing it. Trashy CNN is doing it, right? So this is one of the biggest problems that I have with conservative media. Many times they will rightfully call out liberal media for their partisanship. However, when you are yourself a partisan, in fact, much more a partisan than they are, you revoke your right to be able to call them out, right? That's the way I look at it. When you are not just partisan as they are, but even more so, much more so partisan than they are, then you need to shut your mouth in talking about liberal media. And the same thing goes both ways. For people like the Young Turks, who are very partisan, I've yet to see an episode where they are showing left-wing extremists, burning down cities or whatever, right? I don't see them, showing a video about that and calling it out. And they'll do the honorable mention thing, same thing as Tim Pool will do. Here and there, they might say, yeah, and we don't support violence, right? But they won't focus on it. They won't really report honestly on it, right? So when you are very partisan, like the Young Turks, shut your mouth about conservative media. Shut your trap. When you're partisan like Tim Pool, Blaze TV, Steven Crowder, Shapiro, shut your mouth about liberal media. Get your act together first before you want to point fingers at somebody else, because otherwise what you're doing is a manipulation tactic, right? Because when you see somebody like Shapiro talking about, the mainstream media, they don't report it, it gives the impression that he's better, right? It gives the illusion. If he's calling out partisanship, he wouldn't want to call out partisanship if he's a partisan himself, right? Why would he wouldn't want to even discuss it? So the fact that he's out there pointing it out, so he's showing that he doesn't like that kind of stuff, why would he do the very thing that he's calling out, right? That's the mind game, right? Same thing that you see CNN do. Right? MSNBC does it as well, right? The Young Turks does it as well. Partisan media spending all this time focusing on, conservative media, blah, 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 blah. Get your house in order first before you start pointing fingers at other people, right? I have no problem calling out conservative media and liberal media, right? I'm not on a side. I am only one person, so I do get overwhelmed because conservative media is that bad. But when liberal media does trash, I call it out as well. And when they do good reporting like this, I am not afraid to give them props. As much as I don't like how CNN divides this country, just like most of our media, this is good reporting, and I have no problem calling it out. Conservative media wants to do the same thing. I got no problem calling that out as well, or pointing it out rather. Anyway, this is the Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.